Hey guys, this is Mac with Dream Life Travels, and today I'm going to show you around Parque de Santa Ana. It is a park right in our neighborhood here in Merida, and I came out during siesta time, so hopefully it's a little quieter so you guys can hear me. Let's get to it. In the beginning, this park was a place where a bunch of artisans and workers gathered. They lived around this neighborhood because the more wealthy lived closer to town in Plaza Grande, Santa Lucia. And it wasn't until 1726 that the local governor decided to build some continuity, and that is now known as Calle 60 that connects Plaza Grande and this beautiful park and church of Santa Ana. Nowadays, Calle 60 is a main street if you're heading to the north of Merida. You can pick up a bunch of buses here. Let's look at this amazing church. This is Iglesia de Santa Ana, ordered to be built around 1726 by the local governor. Completed in 1733. Before the Spanish arrived in the mid-1500s, this used to be a location of a Mayan temple. A lot of that stone was reused to create this church we see here today. You'll see the door locked. This is pretty normal here in Merida and over Mexico. Churches don't really just stay open all day. Usually in the morning, in the evenings. I did sneak in the other morning though, so I'll show you some of that footage right now. Cool little history tidbit about the construction of this is the person who commissioned it, Antonio Figueroa y Silva. He was the governor back in 1726 when this was undertaken, and he died fighting the English down in Belize before its completion in 1733. So the guy never got to see his construction come to a close, and we get to cherish it today. And I know it's hard to imagine this spot being a battlefield, but back in 1867, Maximilian, he was an archduke from Austria. He was named basically head of the empire, Emperor of Mexico. He only lasted a few short years because you can imagine locals not having a foreign guy come in and rule. He was defeated by Benito Juarez, and the Republic was reestablished here. And this was usually just a place for artisans and workers, much cheaper. And today, since it has been connected by Calle 60 for many years, it is one of the centerpieces of Merida. Really popular. It's right between Paseo de Montejo and Plaza Grande. And if you're a tourist, you're coming here, definitely a great place to stop by. You'll notice some workers clearing off graffiti. A few weeks ago, there was International Women's Day, and people protested. You can see here the names of a bunch of women written on International Women's Day, probably in commemoration. Right in the middle is a statue of Quintana Roo, who now has a state named after him. You'll see these chairs. They're private chairs. They were made by a local father who didn't want to see his daughter sitting too closely to any suitors. So this is a symbol of Merida and the Yucatan. My absolute favorite things about Parque de Santa Ana, the reason I come here the most, is for the food. The local market has a bunch of people standing up, yelling your name, not actual name, but trying to convince you to come eat at their tables. It's super fun to watch. The food is delicious. They sell salbutes and panuchos, local delicacies, and at night this gets filled up. Local families come out to eat. Much cheaper, really cool environment. If you come here for food, which I highly recommend, they have a bunch of juices that they'll make for you fresh right here on the spot. A bunch of little stalls to order from. Really helpful customer service. Oh, you can smell the fruit, smell the fry. We love to bring Madison over here. She just chills outside. We get our food and our drinks, and it's all good. And here we're getting into a little different type of stores. Local delicacies, Some tourist things to buy if you want to bring it home. Fresh tortillas. Hola. And in here, I've never seen it that open. We've been here for over a year. It is the afternoon, so the veggies and fruit stand is closed. Meat, chicken, eggs, stuff like that is usually open over here, which I come to very frequently. Also bathrooms, if you need to use a bathroom. You can also get your hair cut. Or come around street side and pick up some souvenirs. A lot of good options. There's also a bunch of shops right across the street and marquesitas, restaurants. They even have Chinese. These places, you got it all. Some coffee shops, some galleries, some printing spots that I go to when you need to print something. We do not have a printer down here. Santa Ana is kind of in the middle, the heart of Merida. You saw back there Calle 60 at the previous corner. It's really close, very walkable. Merida is great in that sense. The historic center, you can go from one end to the other in 20 minutes. Just maybe not in the middle of the day like me right now. Thanks guys for joining me today. If you guys want to know about any other spots, let me know. I'd love to walk over there, show you around. So I've retreated to the shady side of the street, but I highly recommend you guys come here. Really cool, get some history, get some amazing food, maybe check out some local shops.